Check it out, people. We are live. Third Phase Moon, Blake Cousins here. Welcome back, everybody from around the world listening. Our flash chat is quite active tonight, and so are the phone lines. So let's get to it. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing?
Pretty good tonight. How about yourself? Yes, got you. Loud and clear.
Oh, I'm doing all right. My first time calling in.
You got a UFO sighting you want to share tonight? Have you seen anything strange in the skies?
Yeah, I have. It happened about, what year was it? It was 2010. And I was in the military, in the Army, and we were running counter-IDF missions, which are, I was in the infantry, and it was, we pretty much just went out, we staged ourselves, and we waited for, whenever they'd go off, we just respond to the mortar team fire. And one night we went out, and they're about 2.5-hour missions. And we just set out about 3 Humvees, 3 gunners per truck. And one night we were set up, and it was about 10 minutes into it. We were just sitting there in the dark, had our lights out. And the front truck radioed to me, and he asked me if I could see something up in the sky in front of his truck. And I looked up there, and I didn't see anything. And I radioed back and told him I didn't. And he told me to put my NVGs on, which are this infrared night vision. And I put them on and looked up there, and there was 2 lights in the sky. I couldn't really tell how far away they were. They were about a 45-degree angle from us from the ground. And it looked like they were, you couldn't really make out a shape, but you could see the lights, and they were pulsating. And at first, we were on the border of Iraq, kind of in the Mason province of Iraq. And we didn't really know at first, because it looked like they were kind of far away, but we thought they were choppers at first. But they weren't really gaining ground on us, or moving in any way that we could see from the vector or from the path they were on towards us. But they just kind of halted in the sky and just started doing a maneuver, which we didn't have any idea at this point what was going on. We didn't think they were choppers at this point. I mean, we couldn't tell the colors that they were flashing because we had their infrared on. I don't know if you've ever looked through those, but I mean, it's just kind of green and black. Yeah, they started moving, and it was like a synchronized, like the best way I could describe it was a dance. And the more they danced, it was like they would break apart and double. Like 2 more would pop up. And they kept doing that until, God, it was probably, I mean, I really couldn't even put a number on it. There was hundreds of them. And they just kept moving in like a grid pattern.
Hundreds of them?
Hundreds.
Oh, right. So,
I mean,
did you think about did you think about reporting this to a higher command to make a report?
Hell no. Well, we didn't know what to report, really. I mean, when you took your night vision off, you couldn't see anything. I mean, you'd go back and forth from doing it. This lasted probably an hour and a half. I mean, we set out in the same, I mean, the mission was about 2.5 hours anyway. We cut the mission short by about a half hour eventually. But I mean, they just kept multiplying until, I mean, it was if you divided the sky in half, like the diameter of a circle, half of the night sky was full of them in a grid pattern formation, and it was like they just kept doing the same little dance where one of them would go down and the other one would go up, and then they'd go from left to right, up, down, and every time they do that, it was like they would double. And got to the point where they actually started leveling out across the sky like a wider grid until they actually got on a line, I mean, as far as you could see all around you. I mean, it looked like they lined the globe is what it looked like to us. And they held that position until the light dimmed out over a span of about 60 seconds. And then we just left.
So you and your comrades were basically just in shock and awe. But you didn't want to report this to anybody. Why didn't you want to report this? Because this could have been some kind of maybe a massive drone invasion or something. What do you think it was?
Man, it's hard to even guess what that was. I've thought about it a lot over the years, and I mean, the only thing that it could even if it was a prank, I mean, it would have to be a prank if it wasn't real. But I mean, how could you fake something like that? It was just crazy. I mean, you couldn't see it without infrared on. I mean, it was there. I mean, you could see
that's what's kind of cool.
I mean,
you only could see it with infrared. You know what to look for. You're looking for this stuff. You're looking for any kind of incoming. You're in a hostile position, I would think. Where you, who were you going after over there? What was your job?
At the time we were looking for gun runners. We would stage ourselves up on the border of Iran and Iraq, and there was a lot of gun running going on over the border, as well as mortar fire into our bases down there in the Mason province. And we were doing two birds with one stone pretty much on a 2.5-hour night mission. And we did it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a nightly mission we used to do. But we never thought to report it. I mean, it was nothing that we could describe or I don't know. We all had the feeling that we knew what it was. I mean, but nobody really wanted to say it, and no one really wanted to talk about it. I mean, there was 11 people with us that night. 3 people up in a Humvee turret that had plain sight of it. And we were talking back and forth about it on the radio, and we were all looking at it. We were all we all decided to cut the mission short by a half hour. I mean, it was not a flare. It was not multiple flares. It was not any kind of vehicle that we have that was doing that. I mean, to be able to spread out across the entire sky as far as the eye could see, I mean, they did that too fast.
Yeah, you've seen a lot of action, and I got a feeling, and I think you guys, all 11 of you, had a feeling that night that this was something out of this world, pretty much an extraterrestrial event going on.
Yeah, I mean, that was the feeling we all got, but, no one really wanted to say it at the time. And I've never seen anything like that, I mean, before or since then. I've only mentioned I've talked to my parents about it, I've told my grandparents about it. And it was actually funny, my grandfather, who probably of all the people would be the least suspecting of having his own story, told me that he sees one on a weekly basis. I guess when he's outside feeding the animals at night, he's got geese outside. I mean, he's got about 10 acres of property. He's got geese and dogs, and he spends a lot of time out there at night. I guess he sees at least once a week. He sees one up in the sky, and he says it just moves around real fast, and it's just a big bright light that changes colors, and he never knows what it is.
It's always good to have backup, especially family, a grandfather backing you up, and knowing that, hey, look, they believe you. You are family, and you're telling them this, so they got to respect what you're telling them. Let me first off thank you for your service, and it sounds like you've done a lot for our country. I really appreciate that much. Takes a lot of guts.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Well, appreciate that call in because let me tell you what these soldiers saw above the skies of Iraq seemed like it was almost a possible invasion, in my opinion. It just an invasion that just kind of blanketed the whole region. Let me bring the caller back. Do you think this was ordered by something that almost looked like is, in your opinion, under some kind of intelligent process, all these scattered out objects working in unison? Was it some kind of operation, a military operation within maybe an alien agenda?
Well, I mean, when you put it that way, when you look at it from a military perspective, what they were doing at all was a show of force. I mean, it was a show of dominance. I mean, if you look at it that way, that's what that would be. I mean, to show that they can multiply themselves and outnumber us, outmaneuver us, and cover the span of the entire globe in about 60 seconds. I mean, that's a show of dominance.
Absolutely. Basically, kind of makes you feel like when the Earth stood still. Basically, they let the world know, like, hey, we could take you out in a second if we wanted to, but we're not. And why not do this over a major hostile situation known as Iraq? A lot of turmoil going on over there in the Middle East. We'll see what happens. Let's see if these kind of major events happen on the news. We got to see big events, these big UFO events, like what was just described to you here in the past few minutes. We need this over the cities. Come on down, guys. Come on down. Show yourselves. Blake Cousins. We'll be right back.